Welcome back, and hello if you are new. Thank you so much for tuning in. An enigma in the metal world, Baroness have never quite been a band that has been classifiable. And put through this kaleidoscopic colour changing that we've gone through on the last 4 albums, we now come to 2019's Gold and Grey. First up, musicianship on this record is absolutely fantastic. Everything is played with pinpoint accuracy, and the feel on this record, I think, is really one of the strongest points. There's a lot more focus on bass guitar and drums, and doesn't really kind of get dominated by those big guitar lines. John Baisley's vocals are potentially their best yet as well, I would say. And, you know, it showcases not only the interesting abilities that the singer has, but also the different vocal harmony ideas, and there are so many on this record. You know, there are sections which reminded me of, you know, the Beatles or Gentle Giant, those kind of really strange kind of a cappella sounds that they put into Baroness. But I think one of the most evident things is the fact that Gina Gleason's vocals really complement Baisley's to create a really nice and wholesome tone. The production becomes almost the 5th member of the band, accentuating the genre changes and the overall sonic landscape. And it really changes the mood, allowing each of the tracks to breathe as well. For example, in Sevens, the vocals have been turned down or like really lo-fi, and then in Anchor's Lament, it kind of comes back and is slightly changed, but there's also this panning, so you can hear the sound almost travelling through your ears. It's really interesting and a very psychedelic style concept. And then again, you know, there's this kind of turning up of the drums on Throw Me an Anchor, where it sounds almost as though they're crackling. But for this, it's the way they incorporate all these different ideas. For example, sudden blast beats come out in Seasons. There's a beautiful piano interlude on Sevens, but then it goes into this kind of 70s prog rock, really Pink Floyd sounding on Tourniquet. There's this strange, almost gothic sound that implements, you know, what you would hear from Sisters of Mercy or The Cure, without it taking anything away from the Baroness overall feel. And there's even avant-garde, experimental, industrial electronic sections which wouldn't sound out of place on an Aphex Twin record, for example. And although I'm not really naming many tracks here, that's kind of the idea with Gold and Grey, is that it is very much a kind of a journey. Throughout the record, there are callbacks to tracks that have come before, you know, reference them in the lyrics, and they kind of use them as little breadcrumbs for you to follow. But it also references the previous colours that we've come to know as well. It combines the progressive nature of red, the fantastic harmonies of blue, that kind of green stillness that we had, and then also the fantastic songwriting ability that we had in purple, but then expands that sound even more into this kaleidoscopic scope. I also feel like you were in the studio with the band. You know, it's a very live record, and Emmet Radiating Light has a really fantastic moment where you can hear, you know, the crickets outside, and it literally sounds like John Baisley's just sat down next to you with an acoustic guitar. And it's fantastic, and it makes it that much more personal. Nevertheless, the riff-oriented Baroness that we've known for years is still definitely here, and you can see that on Broken Halo, Borderlines, and Front Toward Enemy. However, I think some of the best moments on this record are actually the small interludes that are in between the tracks. And it's these moments where I feel that the story of Gold and Grey is really told, particularly on Blankets of Ash, where you can tell there is a change in tone, and things get darker, things get more sad, more melancholic, but also a bit tougher. Later on what I think is the Grey section of the album, Crooked Mile sounds almost like those Cynic style cleans that they used to do in a carnival, and then Can Oscura is almost like electronic, before finally Assault on East Falls goes fully electronic, and it's definitely a lot of music to get through, but it's the journey that really matters. Among the many peaks and troughs in Gold and Grey, there are so many different influences which are evident here. You know, you can hear stuff from Aphex Twin, Fu Manchu, King Crimson, Emperor, the Beatles, Pink Floyd. There's so much variety on here, yet it all sounds exactly like Baroness. Baroness have succeeded in shedding their metal armour, but masterfully moving into the rock world whilst bringing their fanbase with them. Much like Baroness's beguiling artwork, there are so many details which at first glance you won't even notice, but when you really start looking at the picture, you can see every individual thing. And Golden Grey, for me, is without a doubt their magnum opus. It's their masterpiece. And I have to give the record a 5 out of 5. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Baroness's brand new album, Golden Grey, is set for a June 14th release via Abracton Hymns, and you can pick it up right underneath me. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, please share it if you can. That would be absolutely amazing. Let me know what you think of the video below, as I'd always love to read your comments, and I will see you guys next week for another album review. Thank you so much.